Today, we are going to speak about the Philippines, a country that I've been to a couple of weeks ago, and I've stayed there around 10 days. I didn't stay there too long, but before I start, I want to say hello. This is Percy. I've been to 106 countries so far, originally from Turkey, spent most of my youth in Belgium, and living in the US, New York right now, so kind of a world citizen. I like to travel, I like to discover, and in my YouTube channel, apart from all the videos that I'm doing, I'm also having these little vlogs where I take around like 10 minutes describing my experiences and my suggestions in the countries that I've been to. So far, I've done a couple. I've done Vietnam, Malaysia, Cambodia, Brunei. Now I'm doing Philippines. But since I've been to 106 countries, I have 101 more to go. I just started this. And what I do, I'm not using fancy equipment here. This is my laptop's camera in HD. I use a microphone. I just blur the background so you guys are not distracted. I'm right now in my room in South Korea. So here, as I've told you, without any edits, without any cuts, I'm going to describe my experience in the Philippines. That was my country number 105, if I'm not mistaken, or 106. Well, just a disclaimer, I haven't traveled to the Philippines extensively because, as you know, it's a island nation and it is not easy to go around. You have to fly around a lot. And I didn't really want to do that because I wanted to see other places as well, and I mean, other countries as well. So I only stayed in Manila and I've been around. I've been south, like 2-3 hours south Manila, and that's it. And one of the reasons of that was the infrastructure wasn't great, and I'm going to get to that in 1 minute. And while I look, sometimes you might see my eyes moving, and that's because I'm checking my notes to make sure that I'm describing everything that are written in my notes about the Philippines. So if you want to go to Philippines, if you're curious about the Philippines, or if you've been there and if you want to compare notes, feel free to watch. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. And I'd be very happy, of course, if you like and subscribe to the channel. So first of all, my first impression and how I arrived to Philippines was I took a night flight and I was there around 4 a.m. Didn't sleep at all, so I was already exhausted when I was there. I've been to Manila Airport, and one of the most surprising things, positively surprising things, was I met a girl from a travel group. It's not like a dating app or something, from one of the travel groups. And she said that she could say hello to me and come to the airport. And she was there. When I landed, she was there. She welcomed me and we had a coffee for an hour and then she left. So she welcomed me at the airport in Manila, which is hard to go because the infrastructure isn't great. And she was there at 4:30 or 5 a.m. and we had coffee. I was exhausted as well. But yeah, we spent 1 hour together and then she took me to the bus at the airport. So, and I'm telling this story because the Filipino people are very friendly. They're very warm and they also speak very good English, almost all of them. So that makes life very easy. Because if you've been to countries where they don't speak a lot of English or no English at all, it makes things really difficult, even with a phone, even with the Google Translate. So that was a very good beginning. And yeah, the fact that everybody speaks good English really, really helps. My overall impression about the Philippines or Manila and the surroundings is very positive. But there are also some things that are not optimal, such as the traffic, such as the infrastructure. The infrastructure in the Philippines is not great. Even like when I was in the airport, there were buses. Then I had to take a bus to the metro station, and I took the metro. And the metro line is very limited, so you cannot move around in Manila too much. And even like the taxi is not a good option because the traffic is horrible. The best option is those motorcycle taxis. But since Manila is such a big city, sometimes it takes like 20, 30, 40 minutes. So you're in the back of a motorcycle, which is not very comfortable. So your back hurts a lot. So I really try to confine myself with the places that I could access by metro, or they have these metro buses, like buses with a special lane, no traffic. But even then, it's not super accessible. So infrastructure in that aspect wasn't too great. The traffic was horrible. I think that's one of the worst things about Manila. I don't know about other cities, but yeah, because the infrastructure isn't great and the city grew more than planned, I guess, the traffic was horrible. So I never took a taxi, either metro or the motor taxis. Even then, like, it was hard to get around because I was going to this former Philippines is a former Spanish colony, but there is this very famous Spanish Quarter area. So I took the metro and I came to a certain stop, and from there I need to take these. They have these like Filipino buses, famous. It's called jeepneys. It's very Filipino. So I want to take it, and it was just one single road, but I couldn't find the jeepney that went there. So I had to call the motorbike, and it was like half an hour, a lot of traffic. So these things doesn't make the experience very enjoyable, but the country is great, so it was enjoyable in general. Also, one of the things that I enjoyed was cheap prices. There's a lot of street food. You can have a decent meal for $2, $3, $4. For $5, you can eat a lot. For $10, you can eat luxurious. For 20, yes, you can go to a Michelin restaurant. So it was cheap in general. The metro tickets were subway metro tickets. It wasn't the subway per se. Metro tickets were cheap. Transportation was cheap. I took like a 3-hour bus ride. I paid around $4 or $5 for it. Food was cheap. So yeah, almost everything is cheap in the Philippines. So, and it helps. And the food is good. So you can just walk on the street and eat delicious food on the street. A lot of good Filipino food. I did enjoy it. It has a little bit too much fat for me, but that's also okay. I don't mind it every now and then. But I did enjoy the Filipino food as well. And I felt safe. That's very important. So even though Manila is huge and very crowded, when I walked, and there weren't a lot of like foreigners, so as more or less the only white guy around, and or Western guy, let's say, I felt very safe. People were saying hello sometimes. Sometimes, like when I was standing somewhere, for example, I was just looking at the view. Sometimes ladies were coming and just looking at me and saying hello. And usually when they do that, you feel like they want to, they're trying to hustle you, right? Like they want to sell you something and all. But yeah, they were saying hello. I was saying hello back, and then they looked at me and they left. So that happened a couple of times. It was a bit weird. It wasn't strange, but it was a bit weird. And as I said, people are very hospitable. So I met people through platforms like Couchsurfing. And yeah, everybody took care of me very well. I was staying with a Filipino hosting Couchsurfing. He was cooking for me all the time, even though he didn't need to, obviously. I met some people that took me around and they were insisting on paying the bill. So yeah, very nice people, very peaceful people. They have good energies as well. So I like their energies. And of course, feeling safe when you walk in the evening and all, or in the metro. I didn't feel like anybody tried to mug me or something, or steal stuff from me, pickpocket me. So that was always very good. I mean, maybe if you're not careful, you would have stuff stolen, but if you're careful, if you have like your bag in front of you and all, perfectly fine. At least that's my experience. And as I said, I would love to go back to the Philippines, and I would love to stay longer, go all these islands like Cebu and all that, and go to these like undiscovered spots, but I left that for another day. So I'm not going to do it right now, but Philippines has so much to offer. I guess you can stay there 3 months and still you wouldn't have discovered it all, but I'll go back definitely. It is very lively. It's very energetic. People are very nice, even though the infrastructure is poor and it's a bit hard to get around. Traffic is a real negative experience. But amongst all that, Philippines is a wonderful country with wonderful people in it. And as I said, next time I definitely want to go there in a more comprehensive trip. I also realized that I was in the most crowded city in the country. So all these experiences with the traffic and infrastructure might not be the same in other places in the Philippines, especially small towns, which I really like. So definitely recommend it, but I recommend everywhere I go, even the worst country I could recommend, because it's an experience. And if you've been to Philippines, well, if you want to go to the Philippines, you can write in the comments where you want to go, or if you've been to the Philippines, you can share your experience on this under this video as well, and I would love to hear it. So I'm happy to take your suggestions for the next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to continue sharing my experience about travel, about how to create a better version of yourself. I also share a lot about English, if that's something you're interested in, improving your English if you're not a native speaker, about productivity, about how to be a world citizen. So I'll keep sharing, and thank you for following. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in another video. Bye-bye. Greetings from South Korea.